I don't want to argue. I didn't want to come on here and argue with a guest.
You're not arguing.
We're not really arguing.
Okay.
You're not, and you're respectfully sharing.
I respect everyone's opinion. I really do. I just have a different opinion.
Well, that's fine. But if your opinion is close the beach down, and my opinion is I want to go to the fucking beach, then I should go to the beach. That's
I agree
all
with
I'm saying.
you. I agree with you.
But he wasn't allowed
now.
to.
But I wasn't allowed to go to the beach. That's
Because at the
what I'm
beginning we
pushing
didn't
back.
know.
They never look. You're not an epidemiologist if you can't fucking figure out that going to the beach is not a bad place to go with a virus. That's insane.
But I'm not an epidemiologist, and I was just going based on what I did know.
You listened to people that shut the beaches down. I didn't listen to them. I knew they were wrong, and they were wrong.
So in your own house, your wife must have been afraid for your own children. Your children's school.
No, we have healthy kids. It doesn't affect kids. I mean,
she was okay with leaving them home, or she wanted them to go back to school?
It was like, we'll do whatever they tell us to do. They're not great students, so we weren't missing.
They hate
They
your
weren't
parents.
missing anything.
A lot, but it screwed up a lot of kids.
I believe you.
That way.
I think it did, and I think that hindsight is 20/20. But you're saying
I agree. Hindsight is 20/20, but they knew a lot of this stuff earlier than.
But the problem is that we all can't get on the same page, and the reason is that we don't all have, and I think it's algorithms, we don't all have the same, we have the same sources for information, but it isn't funneled that way because of social media. If you look at social media now, you get the information that you have clicked on, that you have enjoyed. You're getting different information than I'm getting.
Well, what I did during the whole pandemic is I watched social media, and then I watched who they pulled off of social media. And the people they pulled off of social media were many doctors, many guys with some pretty rich pedigrees from Stanford and Harvard and all that kind of stuff. And they were pulling these guys off for disinformation. And I kept watching the pattern. Like, why is everyone who disagrees with the status quo, even though these are people with decades of experience in the field, why are they all being pulled off for
But are they really being pulled off?
Yeah.
You know, not to take a side.
Well, they were, yeah.
But even on public television, you know, like the difference between Fox and CNN, they were both there for the taking. Nobody shut any one of them down. One of them's got to be wrong, right?
Yeah. No, well, you can't shut down Fox, but you can shut down, you know, there's a journalist named Alex Berenson, and he used to write for the New York Times and stuff, and he started writing a bunch of stories about it, and he was pulled off of Twitter, but he was right about everything and turned out to be right about everything.
Is he back on Twitter?
No, he's suing Twitter, and I don't know if he's back on Twitter, but the point is most of the people that had opposing viewpoints were removed from Twitter, or many were, and I found that curious. I'm like, why are they taking down guys who disagree? You know, so they say, lock it down. One group of doctors says, shut schools. The other group of doctors says, this is a mistake. We shouldn't be locking things down. And the ones who say it's a mistake were the ones who were deplatformed. And I found that curious. I was like, why isn't it just an open forum where everyone can have their opinions, especially since they're both experts? So it became apparent to me that there was a pattern that was forming. And that pattern was there was a kind of an orthodoxy, like mask up everywhere. And if you said masks aren't effective, then you got into trouble and pulled down. And so I started focusing on who was being pulled down and why they're being pulled down. I'm not talking about like fringe, weird, you know, tinfoil hat guys. I'm talking about doctors and epidemiologists who are sharing their opinions. And that's when I started to see that something was going on.
You didn't believe in a mask?
No.
Why?
Well, I flew a lot during the pandemic.
Right.
And
did you ever get COVID?
I don't think so, but I'm not.
He didn't get tested.
I'm not sure. Maybe. The answer is maybe. I've been tested.
Oh.
You know,
Have you had syphilis?
We can talk after that.
Okay, you flew a lot.
I flew a lot, and the second they said, the second I flew the first time and they handed me the Mediterranean hummus box for lunch, and they said, you can take the mask off and eat, and then you got to put the mask back on when you're done eating, or here's your drink. You can take the mask off in between sips, and then you got to pull the mask up after each sip. I was like, oh, this doesn't do anything. This is total bullshit. Doesn't make any sense. There's no application.
You either wear a mask or you don't wear a mask.
Yes, and plus, half the people I saw wearing the mask had the strap twisted.
Yeah.
And when you twist the strap that goes around your ear, it leaves about a 7/8 gap. It like bunches up and leaves this big air gap so you can literally see the person's cheek through their thing. And I'm like, this is an airborne virus. This isn't doing anything.
You don't think that it's a little bit of a deterrent for that airborne virus? I mean,
it makes sense that it's a little bit of a deterrent, but I don't think the statistics really bear that out. But even if it is, I also started talking to people like Bean of Kevin and Bean, right? And he said, I did everything right. And I got COVID. I wore masks. I washed everything down. Bean's kind of in your camp. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's a hand washer. He said, I did everything right. And I got this thing. And I started talking to a lot of people and went, I did everything they told me to do, and I got COVID. And then I was like, I've done nothing they've told me to do, and I haven't gotten COVID. And then my friend who I travel with, Mike August, he's done nothing either, and he didn't get COVID. So it became apparent to me very early that you were going to get it or you weren't going to get it.
Right.
Or you probably were going to get it. And your best defense is exercise and sunshine and a good diet. And then you probably would get it. And so with that in mind, I was like, I'm just going to throw caution to the wind. I'm going to travel. I'm not washing my hands, and I'm going to take care of business. And then if I get it, I'll get it. But I didn't see any logical way to prevent me from getting it, since everyone who did all the logical stuff didn't seem to prevent them from getting it.
My problem with that train of thought is you're like, oh, I'll just throw caution to the wind and get it, which is great for you because you are healthy and relatively young, and you could fight it, like you're saying, and it's no big deal. It might just be like the cold or a flu or nothing at all. But then you're traveling around and seeing all these other people that are susceptible to maybe more harmful effects of it.
Well, then they need to stay home.
Oh, you're in the camp of like, if you're older, you stay home.
Well, if you're susceptible, or however you described it, if you're a person that is old or has pre-existing conditions or something, then you need to take care of that.
Okay.
Well,
what? Stop staring at me, Dad. Stop. Okay.
If you're in danger, yeah. I mean, if you're in that group, then you need to act accordingly. I wouldn't fly commercially.
I just feel like we need to like all help each other.
You're talking to a man that's willing to piss in a sink.
No, I know.
All helping each other.
I'm a hand washer. I'm
not, but
the apple didn't fall far from the sink.
If you say all help each other, no one's going to disagree with all help each other, but shut down tons of businesses and schools and society, then that's not all helping each other.
I agree with that.
A lot of damage was done.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm not arguing with
Well,
that.
like I have elderly parents. I wouldn't.
But you hate them.
Well, I'm not a fan, but it's a two-way street. They should stay at home.
See, it's different. It was more important to me to be able to see my parents and hang out with my parents and my kids see my parents than me go and possibly get it.
But I don't see, we're working under the supposition that you can not get it. I don't know that you can not get it. I know.
Well, you cannot get it if you.
Everyone has got it. I mean,
no, but you could not get it by locking yourself away, not going to school, not going out.
Knock on wood.
I don't even know if you can not get it that way. Okay. I mean, honestly.
Well, the truth of the matter is, your son got it, and
I did not. Yeah,
and you did
and
not.
He barfed in my face.
Wow.
Yeah, he literally barfed in my face.
Oh.
Like all over.
Yeah. Some guys are into that. Yeah. I don't want to have to take a turn for the